Going with lights, safety lights. I don't care if you're a small haunt, if you're a big haunt, safety lights. What that means is that you have some kind of lights that can turn on if any emergency or anything like that. Or let's say you have customers that want to walk through and don't want to get scared, or maybe they just want to see the sets, or let's say you have an emergency. You know, flashlights are good and all that. Have safety lights. Again, Amazon sells these LED long lights for, I don't know, I think it's like 4 for $20 or $40. That's not a whole lot, and safety should always be your number one. My haunt has safety lights, and they're on a generator. If anything were to happen, those lights will come on with a click of a button. And then I can see whatever's going on, or, you know, it's a good way too to let your cast know whether if it's a break time or at the end of the night you turn the lights on, they all know they're done. Safety lights is a need. Most big haunted houses have to have safety lights. Small ones should have it too, because just because you're a small haunt does not mean you should not have safety precautions in case something were to happen. Because this is a right to sue state, Arizona, they will sue you. So just please, for everyone's sake, have safety lights. They're not that expensive. You know, if you have to get more than one, pretty much one can light up a whole area. They're very bright. Safety lights are awesome. And like I said, don't just do strobes, and strobes are not safety lights. So when you're dealing with lighting, you want to make sure that, like I said, it sets the mood, but it tells a story. It goes with your storyline, if you have one. It has to make sense. Setup, and you're doing the power to it, make sure that you don't have any wires that can trip people, or that you don't overdo it with too much power in one location, because that can cause power shortages and stuff. So with lighting you have to be careful, but it's very important. It can make you or break you if you don't have the correct lighting. And like I said, you want people to be able to see what you've been working on, what you've done, your sets, your people, your costumes, your makeup, all of that. You want it to be able to be seen. Also, so then they get a memory burned in their head and remember something and be like, oh my gosh, you know, I went to this haunt and they had this cool lasery fog thing and it looked like water. I mean, I hear that so much coming from our haunt. So do something creative, do something different. If you can't afford, you know, to do something big like that from Froggy Fog, do something different. Look on Amazon, see what kind of lights they have. I know they have all kind of DJing lights and stuff. Get something different. You know, clowns is a really fun thing to mess with lighting. You can have fun lighting with that, or, you know, if you have a circusy theme or whatever you have, you can mess with the lighting. If, like I said, if you do your own swamp, you could do, you know, fire and ice moving lighting is fun, just as much as your standard basic, like, spotlight. Like I said, lighting can make you or break you. It's important. Don't just, like, you shrug it off, forget about it, or don't care about it. Lighting's important. And safety lights are even more important. I cannot tell you how many times I'm so glad that we had safety lights, because you never know what's going to happen. It's better to plan for the worst and hope for the best, but at least if you plan for the worst, if something does happen, you'll be alright. And safety lights really do make a difference. Still have flashlights. Flashlights are important. Make sure your actors have flashlights, but safety lights are key. Lighting is a lot of fun. If you think about it, it's your way to get to paint your haunt with splashes of color, splashes of fun. Lighting is the way that you get to express feeling, and the way that you can put emotion into your work, and that you can paint it with that light. And when you do photography, like in my other podcast I talked about, lighting's important too. Make sure that when you're taking photos that you have enough light and your characters will look awesome. Lighting, lighting, lighting. Lighting is key. And it shows all of your stuff, or hides it depending on what you do. Do you have like a really dark area? Those are fun. Or do you have a really awesome mausoleum and you want to really bring it to life. So you use color, or you use just basic white lighting so they can see your work. It's not that expensive, and if you're going to invest in either doing a professional haunt, a yard haunt, just decoration in your yard, lighting is key. I've seen some really cool like house decoration. It's awesome in the daytime, but then at night you can't see anything, and there's so many details that are left out because you can't see it in the dark. Home haunts, yard displays, all that, lighting is key. You want to have lights on your displays. I mean, really, I've seen some really, really cool yards. There's one, and this guy does outstanding stuff, and he has so much, but at nighttime he only has a couple of lights, so much is missed. And usually trick-or-treating is, kind of towards the night, so make sure that you're well lit. And also, if you have well lit areas for Halloween and trick-or-treating, no one will trip or get hurt. That's another thing in your haunt. If you have places that are kind of risky with the floor, whether it's not level or you have different flooring or something, if you have some kind of hazards when it's walking, have lighting. Have some kind of light to let them know that, hey, this, you might have to take a step or take a step back, or you might have to really watch where you're going. So when you have even obstacles in your haunt, like especially home haunts or garage haunts, sometimes with garages you have little steps and stuff, make sure that they're well lit so people can see where they're going and no one gets hurt. And just with that area, make it a well lit area and have characters or something, and also have characters, maybe watching or helping, hey, watch your steps, stuff like that, so nobody gets hurt. Again, safety should be your number one, because if you have a patron coming through and they get hurt or injured, or they have a horrible experience, word of mouth is good, but it's also bad. And they can go and tell a friend, hey, I went to this haunt, I tripped and got hurt because I couldn't see. They didn't care. They thought it was funny. I mean, I've heard those stories so many times, and that is not a good thing. You want to make sure that your patrons are getting scared, or getting what they're wanting, but you don't want to harm them in any way or have them have a horrible experience, because then they're not going to be your patron anymore. Do creative stuff. Be creative. Do something different. Do something out of the box. Take the box, throw the box away. Do something different. Maybe you'll have like a trademark kind of a lighting thing. Have that. Do something creative. Do something different. Even you could even have lights in mind, and even make your sets depending on the lights you have. Like, you could have some really cool stuff, like DJ lights that move around and stuff, and you could be like, I don't really think this would go in a graveyard, but it'd be a really cool UFO alien site. So you can even base, when you're not having ideas and stuff, you can base themes and stuff on your lighting, and vice versa. So you can have ideas and then know the lighting that you want, or you can just look around and be like, hey, I'm gonna get this and this, and then you can make a scene depending on, it could be your inspiration. Lighting, like I said, that's coloring your haunt, and you want to have a creative, different kind of a haunted house than everybody else. So don't be that one person that has a bunch of stuff and no one can see it because you have no lighting. Don't be that guy. So when I was talking about moods earlier, if you want them to kind of feel rushed, or you want them to feel kind of heated, warm colors are really good for that. If you want them to feel more mellow, or you want them to kind of chill a little bit, you're going to want to use colder colors. And then you can even mix it up and do colder and hot colors and all that. Red is one of the strongest colors, as well as white. So I kind of went with my photography podcast before. Mess around with those colors. If you want something to be, really noticeable, put a red light or white light on it, If you want things to be more in the background, use a cooler color, or like a green or a blue or a purple. Black lights are fun. If you do black lights, there's all kinds of cool things you can do with black lights. You can do blacklight paint, blacklight makeup. You can really have fun with blacklight. It's a blast. If you're going to use blacklight, have a reason to do it. Don't just do it because it's cool. Have something that they can see, or your monsters have UV paint, whatever. Just, if you do blacklight, make sure you do it good. So with lighting, again, you just want to make sure it makes sense and that it goes for the mood and style and what you want it to say. If you have any questions or want to know more about lighting, you can always email MysCreation's Haunted Attraction, or you could even email Synyster Syn. But lighting is important, and just make sure that you got what you need and that it works. Also, another place that used to sell really cool lighting was Walmart. Walmart around Halloween time sells these cool moving lights and stuff like fire and ice, which those are really cool. And I know Spirits sells them. They're a little more expensive on Spirits, but you can get them at Walmart. And I don't know, Amazon might sell them too now. But like the fire and ice effect where it moves, those are also really cool and can be used for like fire, water, stuff like that. So also, if you have any signage or exit signs or anything like that, make sure that it's well seen and lit. If you have any like artwork or anything like that, make sure that it's lit up so people can see it. I've went to a couple of haunts and they had some really cool stuff, but you couldn't see it. So make sure that, your work and everything you do, you can see it, because that's the point of doing it, right? Well, that is today's podcast with UZA's MysCreation, Haunted Attraction. Again, if you have any questions, please email us at UZA MysCreation or at Synyster Syn. The links will be in the video, so if you want to look at our website or whatnot, feel free to. If you have questions, hit me up. Thank you for listening. Bye.